I'm Alexander Edward.
And I'm Tony Boswell.
And we are Minion Death Cult. The world is ending. Greta Gerwig and Meryl Streep defiling the masculine name of both Jesus and Aslan the lion are responsible, and we're documenting it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Thanks for tuning in. As always, reminder up top, we are an independent podcast, completely listener funded by supporters who support us over at patreon.com/Minion Death Cult. We don't run ads on this show. We are just two guys doing stuff, you know? And don't we love it when guys do stuff?
Right. We love it when guys get together and, you know, and be bros. That's what this whole show's about, is dudes being bros.
There is so much money in doing stuff. Like as guys, you know, like it is really truly a growth market, and you as the listener are absolutely going to want to get in on the ground floor,
get in early. It's kind of something we just discovered. We just kind of figured out that guys can do stuff. And so, you know, we're trying to really pioneer this. So why not? Two guys talking, let's give it a shot. I've never seen it done.
I've been doing stuff my whole life. I've just really kind of figured out how to weaponize it now.
Exactly.
How do you target my enemies with it?
Yeah.
Speaking of enemies, let's get on with the show here, Tony. Did I say the link? Patreon.com/Minion Death Cult to support the show and get a bonus episode every single week and help us do this listener-funded, ad-free podcast. Thank you for your time. Yes, speaking of enemies here, Tony, gosh, I just love all the things my union president is doing.
Oh no, the tone you said that in.
Yeah, did you see Sean O'Brien, president of the Teamsters' most recent tweet? Well, now it's not his most recent tweet. His most recent tweet is his podcast with police commissioner or something who claims to have been hate crimed. Judging by the link, I'm not exactly sure. I really don't have time to listen to Sean O'Brien's podcast, so who could know? But it does sound like that police chief was targeted for probably being too law and order like.
See, the problem with that is that, like, hate crimes against police chiefs are at an all-time low. So it's not a good time to make stuff up like that. We really need to get those numbers up. And, you know, if people think it's happening, they're going to think someone else is taking care of it for them, you know? And so we can't have that false narrative around.
It really is a symbiotic relationship between the people who do hate crimes against the police and then the police who get to benefit from, you know, being victims.
Yeah.
Because they are like one of the few classes of people that can actually benefit from being a victim. It's not just from being a victim. They have the union and the monopoly on violence behind them. But you know, they can also turn their victimhood into cool like tanks and stuff.
Yeah. It's the only demographic.
I don't know another race that gets tanks for being a victim, you know?
Not yet. We're working on it though. You know, it's the only demographic that, you know, they can say that their feelings were hurt and they get millions more dollars. They don't just get ridiculed and actually have the rights taken away from them.
Yeah, like I stepped off a curb wrong while I was trying to swing at an unarmed Palestinian protester. Can I please have $245,000 a year for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
And your mayor, your Democratic mayor is like, we weren't giving you that already? Absolutely.
I am so sorry. We'll do back pay too.
No, the tweet from Sean O'Brien, again, my Teamsters president that I'm talking about, is he reposted a New York Post article of Bernie Sanders and AOC. You know, they're doing this anti-oligarchy tour. They're going around saying how bad all these oligarchs are, and yet, Tony, they're flying on a plane.
The audacity. They should be riding bikes. They should be running from town to town.
They should be rollerblading because they're gay for doing this in the first place.
I just immediately pictured Bernie Sanders in like the speed skates and like full lycra, like tucked. Like, have you seen the guys training on the street like that?
He's got the long helmet that looks like a xenomorph.
Doing the arm swing thing they do.
As a communist, he probably could sync up with like a speed skating team of radical leftists, and they would all be on each other's cycle. They would all be skating in lockstep. The fascist rollerblades, breathing like pinned to your neck, kicking down your door with cute retro roller skates.
The only thing that's scarier than like boot stomps is the boot stomp followed by the bearing roll. And you know they're moving faster than you are.
Yeah, instead of the thud of the jack boot, it's the thud of the fruit boot. So Sean O'Brien's all in on calling Bernie Sanders and AOC like hypocrites or limousine liberals or something, because he writes his own caption. He did like the clickbait podcaster thing of writing out his own caption for this New York Post article, and his caption reads, "Socialists AOC, Bernie Sanders caught on video exiting $15,000 per hour private jet to attend, quote, fighting oligarchy rally."
Well, it's right there.
This, I mean, before we get into the substance of it, I just again want to highlight the like weird clickbait headline he wrote for this. Did he even write this, or did his social media manager churn this out?
I think he gave him kind of a guideline. I think he was like, "Hey, make sure you call him socialist. Talk about the jet," and then they handled the rest.
It's just like, what are you doing, man? Like, I have plenty of faults with AOC and with Bernie Sanders. It's namely their endorsement of the foreign policy killing machine, and then also their unwillingness to meaningfully challenge the Democratic Party. Like, I'd say that those two are my biggest issues with them. It's not that as politicians on a tour, they need to get to places on that tour. Like, that's just, I don't know, that's just politician shit. Like, if I had my way, like, no politician would be able to fly private. Like, we'd have a robust enough like public transportation system that the private jet industry could be successfully like banned from this earth. But we don't have that. So it's like you're already talking about bourgeois politicians. You're already talking about a bourgeois electoral system. There's a far more like fundamental critique of their existence as like senators and House members than there is of like the transportation they use to actually critique the people in power in this country.
Yeah. If anything, they should be obligated to fly at least business. So they have to be amongst their constituents. You know, they should have to fly in business, and they have to fly in the middle seat.
Yeah, exactly. As like populist Democrats, they're actually pitching this message towards people who make $500,000 a year instead of 10 million.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's extremely funny to level this criticism against Bernie Sanders, who's infamous for flying coach. Like, how many photos are there of Bernie Sanders, like disheveled Bernie Sanders in an aisle seat next to like somebody who recognizes him? You know, like that was the meme about Bernie Sanders, is that he was taking, you know, normal flights. Yeah, just this he's Sean O'Brien is like, you know, sorry, I don't want to make assertions on what is going on in somebody else's head. Like, this is somebody that I voted for as president. This is somebody that I appreciate the work he did on the contract he got for us. You know, we obviously helped, but the contract that we got, I thought it was a good contract. Other people disagree, but I thought it was a good contract. And then everything he's done since then has been extremely confusing to me.
Yes.
His tacit support for Trump. And I'm not even talking about going to the RNC, although that obviously appears to be supportive of the Republicans, despite what he said while he was there. I'm talking about his work with the Trump administration on their labor secretary. I'm talking about his silence in the face of firing, tens of thousands of public sector union workers, attacks on the NLRB. Like Sean O'Brien's silence and refusal to confront the people doing this is in my mind can only be explained by like a couple things. One, he is satisfied with what he's done for Teamsters and where Teamsters workers are at in general, and doesn't think it would be worth it to challenge an administration because maybe he's worried about what this administration could really do when it comes to fighting against labor rights and fighting against organized labor in general, because theoretically we're still trying to create new Teamsters. And so maybe he's worried that Trump could meaningfully impact our ability to get new Teamsters. But the thing that like butts up against that in my mind, the reason I'm like confused is because, I don't know Sean O'Brien personally. I've met him at a rally, but I don't know him personally. But the way he won as a reform candidate. He won as a candidate who was willing to confront the bosses, who was willing to use class politics to exert power over the company, over the bosses, the people in control. And that seems to be gone. That attitude now seems to be gone. And the reason it's confusing is because he seems like a what's the word? Like he seems like a guy who wants to make something of himself. He seems like a guy who is concerned with his legacy, who's concerned with his image, who maybe has some ambitions, And right now I'm looking at our moment in time where we couldn't have like a more obviously oligarchical political system, a system where the billionaires and millionaires have the control that they do. Like I don't know, not since like the 30s, I think, have we seen the system in this like lopsided of a shape. Yeah. The moment in my mind for working people to do something and have massive support seems to be right now. And so I don't know why a guy who seems to be ambitious, seems to want to fight, or at least comfortable mimicking fighting, using the language, using the symbolism, why he's not willing to pick this fight, why he's not willing to fight what could be a historic movement, truly. Like, and so when I see that, I'm just like, do they have something on him? Like, again, you don't want to speculate, but I'm just like, why? This is like a huge bag fumble for him, even if he's like, even in the most cynical ways of looking at this, if he's just self-interested or whatever, it seems like he's giving up leading a working class movement of hundreds of thousands of Teamsters, not to mention everybody else who would join in, all the other unions and all the other workers who don't have a union but know that unions are good. He seems to be giving that up to settle for being a podcaster.
Yeah.
For being somebody who gets to talk to Dana White once a week, or an aggrieved sheriff on his pod. What are you doing? I am so confused by this guy. And the last thing I'll say about this is I hope it's worth it, bro. Like, I can't know why you're doing it. I'm not going to pretend I do know why you're doing it, but I hope you just love podcasting enough to where you can do it full time and be satisfied, because we're going to fucking vote you out. Like, I don't like, you're like, so many people are mad at him right now just because they think he supports Trump in general, just because they think he supports the Republicans in general. Like, I didn't see this much backlash against fucking Hoffa that we voted out for, Hoffa Jr. that we voted out for Sean, you know, like, it's not looking good for you, man. And I don't know why he's doing this, like, Prager U smug grandpa posting instead of doing something historic, you know?
Well, yeah, I think it sucks. I think you said I think he has ambitions, but I think they're misguided. I think that the most glaring evidence is the fact that he decided to start a podcast. I think that the next person you have in, it should be in their contract that they cannot start a podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. We will change that at the convention. We will change the Teamsters Constitution. No podcasters. So I might have to say goodbye to everybody.
No, only for leadership. Only for leadership. Because leadership, it is a conflict of interest.
Well, I mean, I have been told I'm something of an informal de facto leader among men and women and
qualities,
non-binary pals in the union. So we'll have to see if that counts.
Yeah, it's gonna suck when you have to quit your job. But
yeah, I'll quit being a Teamster so I can keep podcasting. Actually,
I mean, hey, follow in Sean O'Brien's footsteps, you know. But yeah, it sucks. A bit of it does feel like he sees the success of these podcasting grifters, and is like, "Well, that might be an easier career." And it's like, it sucks. It sucks so bad.
Yeah, man, just like giving up actual power to be like a D-level pundit. I don't fucking get it. You know, maybe he has aspirations for office or something like that, which again, giving up real power to be essentially, you know, somebody who's going to rubber stamp whatever lobby or industry writes for you to rubber stamp. Yeah. So I don't know, you know, Teamsters, we had just recently, especially Sean O'Brien has been pushing this like logo, this branding, Teamsters versus everybody. And I think it's like a riff on some other clothing slogan or some other whatever.
It's like a sports thing. I know a lot of sports embrace that, you know, like,
yeah. And it's just like
everybody, or LA versus everybody.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe that's where it's from. That doesn't make sense for a union, man. Like it's just, not only does it not make sense for a union, it's also like seems to be O'Brien versus everybody except the oligarchs, except Elon Musk and Dana White, and like anti-union fuckers. Actual union busters is who this guy is sitting on the sidelines to talk to.
Yeah, it's wild too. Like Dana White, I mean, is somebody who has been under a lot of scrutiny for the way he's been paying his workers, his fighters. The lack of rights a lot of them have, and how
he's a union buster. He's a literal has prevented the UFC from unionizing.
Yeah, it's insane to have him on. It's just like it's pretty fucking gross. I mean,
not to mention the hitting his wife thing.
That part too. But it's like, yeah, it's that shirt should say like Teamsters for everybody.
Yeah.
Like that's what it should say, and to be versus everybody. And if anything, be like it should be like Teamsters versus like the oppressors, the big government, you know, whatever, anything but everybody.
Teamsters versus the bosses. That's literally who you're against.
Yes, Teamsters versus the bosses.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, just had to get that off my chest. I don't know. Fuck. I'm sick of this guy's shit. He's fucking annoying as hell. Yeah. And I waited a long time to see what he would, and this is like the final straw. Like I can tolerate him going to the RNC and possibly speaking truth to power. I cannot tolerate Prager U TPUSA Grandpa posting. That is beyond the fucking pale. That you've reached no man's land. It's time to retire.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of bad news out there, right, Tony? Would you say?
Yeah. A lot of terrible news.
Yeah, and so it's just nice every once in a while to focus on the positives, focus on things that are going right, and by that I mean things are going very wrong for Donald Trump and his administration, because he is currently underwater in the polls with just about fucking everybody. It seems like everybody hates him, which is crazy because I thought everybody loved Trump, and it's everybody just like they need a refresher every 4 years apparently about how much Trump sucks ass.
Yeah.
This new Harvard poll, Trump is like underwater with young men, the people who got him a second fucking term. According to a Harvard youth poll, Trump job disapproval with young men now at 59%. 59% disapproving of Trump, of what Trump's doing. 40% say they're worse off under Trump versus 29% who say better off. Who are the 29%? Like the specific people Trump plucked from like Mar-a-Lago to be in his cabinet.
Yeah, that, and there's like people who are still in deep denial.
Yeah, the 29% are Kash Patel and fucking JD Vance's immediate family members.
Yeah, and someone who just really like their only joy in life is arguing with people online about how good he is. That's been up for them. They've had a lot to talk about.
47% say Trump will hurt the economy. In January, 62% approved of Trump on the economy, so he's down on that. The young men thing is just fascinating because, like, we're old now, Tony. It's kind of weird.
It's true. It's
like
so true.
The original Trump administration was what, 10 years ago now, almost.
Yeah.
So it like sucks to think about, but it's not an excuse, or like it doesn't make it necessarily make sense, but it's more understandable to think about it, I think, in terms of like, well, these 18 to 22 year olds or whatever who voted him in just like hadn't experienced a Trump presidency as an adult, you know, like their brains were much less formed back when he was president, and all they had was like this, this like instant nostalgia machine, or this like nostalgia machine that is creating nostalgia for anything and everything, at all times. And there was a lot, I don't know, there was a lot of like overblown stuff from the first Trump administration that maybe you could say was like, oh, that was, much ado about nothing. The Russia stuff, right?
Yeah.
Things like that. Well, nobody went to jail. I mean, a couple people, I guess, did go to jail, but like Trump didn't get indicted on it. And so maybe you could be like, oh, people were losing their minds and it was epic meltdown from libs and we all got to enjoy it. And once you like to see it again this time, and then you get fucking laid off from your job because Trump's intentionally triggered a recession for like the third time.
Yeah, it was tight when they were dunking on the libs, but they still had jobs. Like that's a good balance.
Which, if you have a woke president like Biden, he can just keep the whole industry on rails. It's gonna go off the rails eventually on its own. But you could have somebody up there just like greasing the wheels, to mix my metaphors, on behalf of capital. And if that guy's woke, the guy doing that, then you can have the good email job and also get to make fun of the woke president, and call him a queer black Latina or whatever you want to do. That's why you should just vote for the woke guy, because the woke guy is still gonna do like neoliberalism, still gonna just try to maintain the status quo, which is about as good as you're gonna get, unless the whole thing is totally restructured, and it's not going to be restructured in our favor by the people who are currently in power, i.e. the capitalist class.
Yeah, absolutely.
More polling here from Pew Research. President Trump approve 40%, disapprove 59%.
Damn.
So that approval is down 19 points since the last time they checked it out.
It was inverse before, and now it's 40-59 instead of the other way around.
Wow, even white people don't like this guy. White people disapprove of Trump by 2 points. Wow. Welcome to the resistance, white people. 49% to 51%. Black people are what is this down from? Oh, sorry. Okay, so that's not down from 19. That's like the percent difference. So that's why you said it flipped. That makes more sense.
That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, black people approve of him at 14%. What, that's down from like 18% at the election.
I'm real proud of this one. This is a good one. Good job, black people. We're doing great. That 14% is rough. 14%. Every single one of them has a Twitter account with 20,000 followers.
Yeah, every one of them is a non. Sorry, what'd you say?
Yeah, that's the whole 14%. 2 of them are twins.
Yeah, the 14% is just solely like unwoke rappers trying to get a Prager U contract deal. Hispanic Americans, 27% approval to 72% disapproval. I don't know what that's down from, or if that is down from Asia. Even the Asians don't. What's that?
I think that's pretty significant, actually. I know there's been a big turnover with all the immigration stuff. A lot of people have been like walking back their support of him. So I think that's actually a pretty big drop for Hispanics, if I remember correctly.
Asians, 29% approval to 69% disapproval. Yeah, it's wild how just like when the guy's a racist, like it's like, why can't you just pick which race to be a racist? Like just be racist against the black people, right? They already don't like you. Like, why do you have to go? You're losing the Asians and the Hispanics, just like try to silo off your racism, and you can make the tent bigger.
It's crazy because we don't even have like a pandemic that's in the news right now that you can blame on Asians. You're just being racist in general,
right? Just for the love of the game.
Yeah, you don't even have that type of racism in your back pocket anymore.
The people who are like, I love Trump. I this is what I voted him in for, to be racist against everybody.
Yeah,
it's good that
I hate everybody.
It's good that his poll numbers are sinking. That shows he's implementing my plan of being an asshole to everybody.
You see that drop? You see that drop among whites? That means he really is going against everybody. He's really going. Everyone can get it.
Yeah, those are the weak diaspora whites. Yeah, he's down. He's negative 27 points with ages 18 to 29. He's negative 25 points, ages 30 to 49, negative 7 points, ages 50 to 64, and negative 14 points, ages 65 and plus. He's lost the boomers handily.
I haven't had a good conversation with my grandma since the beginning of the year. It'd be interesting to touch base with her on how she's feeling about everything, because I know a lot of the stuff he's doing are things that she kind of was saying he hasn't done, so it's cool. So I'm curious to see if she's one of the ones that might have lost the support.
The only group he's actually above water with in this Pew Research poll is the GOP. The GOP and people who lean GOP approve of him by 51 or by 75 to 24. Yeah.
Damn.
So he's got his own party. Wow, he did a C. He did C average with his own party. Good job, buddy. Yeah, these are the headlines from Trump polling. Just Trump is getting negative marks on immigration. Polls show Trump's immigration ratings turn negative, according to Washington Post. According to AP News, immigration is Trump's strongest issue, but many say he's gone too far. New York Times, voters see Trump's use of power is overreaching. Times, Siena poll finds, and AP News, only about half of Republicans say Trump is focused on the right priorities. He's a loser. He's a loser who sucks ass because he's too full of hate to do anything that ever makes sense, even among your whatever, like technocratic, more technocratically inclined Republicans who like want to see actual results instead of just wanting to smite their enemies or whatever. Not saying those people are any better, but the people who have like a desire to wield power in a way that benefits at least them are like, even they are like, why are you're wasting time, man?
Yeah.
Like, why are you getting embroiled in deporting college students for criticizing Israel? Like, this isn't good for anybody except Israel, and it's probably not good for Israel. Makes them look even worse.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty awesome to see. A good sign of the time is when they start using bad pictures of him again in headlines.
Oh yeah,
like the political one. It's not a very flattering picture of him. He looks a little like lost, a little like disheveled, and that's a good sign. That's a good sign for us in the country that they're using those pictures again.
Yeah, 100%. We got a good photo of him in the midweek bonus episode that I can't wait for you to see. He's doing so. Trump is polling so badly that the idea of immigration is up.
Yep.
Just immigration itself has become more favorable thanks to how shitty Trump is.
He's made people confront the reality of what they're talking about. So many people like, whoa, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. I didn't mean them. And they're like, no, we don't give a fuck. That's what you voted for. And like people are coming up against what they've been supporting. Like, oh, this is not what I had in mind. And it's backfiring.
Yeah, it's so bad what this administration is doing, and it looks so bad that even the people who, I bet a lot of people who did want it and still want it can't admit publicly. Like as bad as we've gotten as Americans, this is still too much. This is still too far. You cannot, in polite society, I don't think, condone this, even if you're a fucking Republican.
It got real personal for a lot of people real fast when all of a sudden, like, their favorite coworker who happens to be brown didn't show up to work. Like that happened real fast. And like seeing all these stories of regular people, good people being punished does not sit well with folks.
Yeah. And just to link this back to our previous topic, I can't for the life of me understand why you as a union president would want to tie yourself not only to an anti-union political party in general, but one that's this unpopular.
Yes.
Again, like the moment has never been better to strike against the people in power in this country. Like, I think liberals have never been more critical of ICE. I think liberals have probably never been more critical of oligarchs and the police state and of Israel. Yeah. There's so many things that we could change about this country fundamentally if we had the right numbers and the right leadership in this moment specifically. And it's so frustrating to see O'Brien abdicate that role. It's really like pretty shameful.
Politicians are people we should absolutely be kicking while they're down and taking advantage of while they're weak. And
yes,
everything in me,
Yes. More bad news in polling here for Trump. More Americans say U.S. should bring back Abrego Garcia. Views mixed on other deportation issues. The like hallmark case that they're trying to turn into the national conversation. This dude who had the fucking Lucky Charms tattooed on his knuckles, and they were trying to say he was a terrorist. Americans are still, they were trying to say he was a MS-13 gang member, and Americans are still like, well, they're like, they're looking at, the a Blues Clues smiley face tattoo on his knuckles and being like, well, I guess that could be MS-13, but we need to bring him back here to make sure,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like we said, the importance of due process and what that really means has kind of been brought into the limelight right now, and that's really important and really good. It sucks it took this to make it happen.
Yeah, like, I mean, Stephen Miller did make a convincing case that this nautical star is actually a Latin king's tattoo. But I think, we just maybe need to get like an expert witness and have a trial and all that. The anchor, the mermaid tattoos, like, I admit all these are really suspect. But we need to have due process.
What did he mean when he got the monster logo tattooed on him? What did he mean? Was he talking about the devil? Is that the 3 6s? Is that the Monster Energy logo? What did he mean by that?
Well, that's the M for MS-13.
Ooh, that's too obvious. I don't know why I thought about that twice.
Yeah, that's the M for MS-13. And then the Jolly Roger he has on his shoulder blade. Well, that's the S-13. We all know the the skull and crossbones black flag stands for S-13.
I'm gonna get the monster logo, the Stussy S, and then like a 13 cue ball.
Do you remember? I looked it up to make sure. There was a birdhouse skate deck, and it was like a turtle guy or a bird guy in a bumper car, in like a racing bumper car, and the bumper car was numbered 13. But it wasn't like prominent. It was just like a number on the front of the bumper car or the race car or whatever it was. And I remember seeing that as a kid and somebody being like, hey, that's for marijuana because M is the 13th letter. Because the bird has like a cigar in his mouth. And so when I looked it up, I was like, oh, remember, I was thinking about the like MS-13 skate deck or the marijuana skate deck because there was a guy with a cartoon character with a blunt in a car that said 13, and it's just a cigar if you go back and look at it. And I was just like, that's
the turtle might be smoking a blunt. Give him some credit.
That's like the level that these Fox News grandmas are operating at. Like, it's like my same mentality as an elementary school student trying to like pierce the veil of this birdhouse logo is what they want to like base domestic policy on.
For some reason, like 13 is Penny's favorite number. It's like her like lucky number. And I was telling her that it's sick because a lot of people think it's like a bad luck number. And I think it's cool that you embraced it. And she's like, yeah, I'm like going to get, she's all stoked on it. So now, like, whenever there's a chance, we always do 13. Like, all the golf carts are numbered. And if I get 13, I'll get 13 every time.
And then, of course, you've shown her all the live concerts of Bad Luck 13 where they beat each other with trash cans and baseball bats and set the venue on fire. And
yeah, they throw the trash can full of weapons into the pit. I'm like, look, isn't this cool? This is what you're all about, babe. She would actually love that.
That's not what if she was like, hey, that's not cool. Someone worked really hard to put those bleachers up. Why would you make a mess like that?
I'd be so sad. She's like, Dad, why aren't they listening to security? What's happening? She would never. Yeah,
from this ABC News article, there's about an even division, moreover, on Trump's efforts to deport undocumented immigrants in general. 48% said Trump is going too far in this regard, while 50% said he's either handling it about right, 34%, or not going far enough. So there's the utterly psychotic section of Americans that he's not going 16%. Say that kicking down students' doors for writing a pro-Palestinian op-ed in their school newspaper isn't going far enough. But I mean, it's 48% to a 34% slightly psycho America, and then 16% ultra psycho America. So if those like two psychotic sections of America ever got their stuff together, like I'd be scared. But I'm just like counting on their overall antisocial tendencies to prevent them from ever forming a like effective body politic that's not totally astroturfed by the capitalist class?
I do feel pretty confident that most of that 16% is composed of people who think that posting on Facebook is politics. So hopefully we're good. Hopefully they're like, I started a group. I started a group called Trump's Not Going Far Enough, and that's how we're going to change things. So hopefully that's going to take care of that.
That result underscores animosity. Hey, speaking of animosity, towards undocumented immigrants, as seen in contrast to views on deporting international students who have criticized U.S. policy in the Middle East. In this case, support for deportation drops to 39%, with 59% opposed. So very clearly, this country does hate college students and young people in general, but at least 59% of us don't hate them enough to deport them to an El Salvadorian death prison.
Yeah.
So that's good. Okay, so if you're wondering like how pro-Trump spaces are reacting to this overwhelming negative sentiment towards their guy, it's pretty funny because you can't find, obviously, a lot of coverage of these polls in right-wing spaces. But when you do, such as in this Fox News article, this is how they frame it. Fox News: voters give their views on President Trump's first 100 days in office. Fox News poll: the first 100 days of President Trump's second term. And the thumbnail is him like decisively pointing a finger and got his like kind of swaggery squint on his face. And, wow, I'm just assuming people love him in these first 100 days. Like, yes, sir. Thank you for your service. And if you go into the article, it's just, again, everybody hates Trump.
Awesome. Yeah. And it's funny because like the way this title is they're really trying to like minimize it. They're really like, Trump's having a little bit of a slump. These first 100 days are tough. This doesn't mean much. Sorry.
The fucking sub headline on this article is 82% are extremely or very concerned about inflation. Down from 89% in January. So that's good. He's seven fewer percent people think that Trump is better on the economy than than Joe Biden.
Yeah. And like what it really is that like what people aren't thinking about inflation right now. They're thinking more about like the humanitarian stuff rather than like the price of eggs when they were doing this poll.
No, I totally disagree with that. I think most people are way more concerned about inflation and immigration because you had like 82% of people are still like, hey, this sucks ass. Yeah. Hey, inflation is fucking killing me. I'm extremely or very, take your pick. We're concerned about the price of shit because it's not going down. And it's funny because I said this, I think, a couple episodes ago, but like the economy was supposedly like Trump's number one issue. It's like the argument for getting him in there to replace Biden anyway. And he's 82% down on this question alone. But I love that they frame it. Oh, he's down to 82% from 89%. Like that's their best possible takeaway from this.
Sorry, it's just not on my mind because like honestly tofu is still $2 and potatoes haven't gone up, so it hasn't really hit me so much. And I siphon most of my gas, so this kind of takes care of that too.
Now, is that the silken tofu though?
Well, there's not much use case for silken tofu on my everyday. That's a little treat, I get that straight from a market, where it's on a flat wrapped in saran wrap. And that's still pretty cheap.
You don't just like fry up some silken tofu?
No, if I'm frying it up, I'm usually doing like a regular firm.
Okay.
Yeah. Silken's too fragile for me. Silken, I'm just dressing it. I'm eating it cold with some sort of like, sauces and fixins on top.
Got it. Good to know. I just
salads, soy sauce.
Tight. I just wanted to show off that I know the phrase silken tofu. That's like one of the few things I know about tofu is that it can be silken.
It can be silken. Yeah. It's also good in like smoothies if you're going to be blending into something. Get a little protein in there.
Like I think I've bought silken tofu for Ani. Like I think I've eaten it. I can't remember if that's how she makes her like when she fries tofu for ramen and stuff like that.
If it's being fried, probably not. If it's like in a soup, it might be. It's like the really soft, like almost gelatin like one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, but do you still have to squeeze it, get the water out?
No, that one you don't want to squeeze because it's too soft. You're gonna compromise the integrity of the form.
You just squish it.
Yeah. You don't want to squish that one. It'll just smush on you.
Okay, we'll have to do more research into what I'm eating. Start asking some questions.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't start doing that. That's what I do at many a Mexican food restaurant I've never been to. I do not ask what's in the beans, what's in the rice. And I just go for it. I
do. I go to a Mexican restaurant, but I go, excuse me, is there any red dye in your tortillas or is there red dye in the lard in your beans? What kind are you using red dye lard?
Yeah, please, if you can hold the red dye off for me, that'd be great. I just play like shit roulette, It's like if I got to take a crazy shit later on, that's how I know if I can't go back to that place or not.
As President Donald Trump approaches the 100th day of his second term, a Fox News survey finds voters pleased with the job he is doing on border security, but displeased on most other issues, including inflation. Trump receives his best marks on border security as a 55% majority approves. That's the only issue where his ratings are in positive territory. On immigration, a record high of 47% approve of Trump, 48% disapprove. While that's a record high, 47% approve of Trump on immigration.
Wow.
Maybe I'm misreading that. I don't know. While a new low of 38% approve on the economy, his worst ratings are on inflation. 33% approve, followed by tariffs. 35% or 33% approve. Foreign policy, 40% approve. Taxes, 38% approve. And guns, 41% approve. Dude can't even fucking win on guns.
That's crazy.
It's very funny because he has like the worst rating of the last like 5 presidents for this moment in office. Like he is worse right now than he was during his first term.
Yeah,
which was already the low point for job approval for president in like the first 100 days or 45 days or whatever it was. Yeah, he's just a loser. He's a loser. And we got to fucking deal with him for another 3 years. It's great.
I mean, we probably have to deal with it for another 3 years. We can be optimistic.
Yeah, and then we'll have to deal with JD Vance afterwards.
It's so funny. My mom the other day just goes on a rant about how much she hates JD Vance. And I was like, yeah, it's funny seeing him, go from this like liberal stance. She goes, no, I don't know anything about him. I just hate his face. I just don't like the way he looks. I'm like, that's good enough reason. I'm okay with that. She's like, he just looks evil to me.
Yeah, he's a phony. He looks like a phony because he is a phony. I don't know, he's just fucking poser through and through, like all these new right guys.
And my mom loves everybody, so it's really funny to her to just be like, I hate him just for the way he looks.
Some replies on this Fox News comment section. Beautiful. Kay Dawson, because again, this post on Facebook for Fox News has 15.9 thousand likes and loves and then some laugh reacts. But everybody, again, all the Fox News viewers and Trump supporters are just seeing this, flattering photo of Trump and an indication about what the article is about, not actually like the conclusions or the data that is present in the article, but they're just like, oh, this must say exactly how I feel about Trump, which is that he's the second coming of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because as we know, they do not click the articles and read them. They just read the headlines and do what they want with it.
They read the headlines and the comments, but they're not reading enough comments. That's the problem.
That's the problem.
Kay Dawson says, doing more than the last, quote, crew did in 4 years. 8 exclamation points.
I mean, if you're talking about, damage, yeah, they did a lot of damage in 100 days than anyone thought possible. Very impressive.
They're doing stuff like you can't. Again, it's so powerful when guys do stuff like they can't be stopped, and it's like, sure, sometimes the stuff is really bad, but it's there, it's present in all our lives, and it's such an important part of all our lives when these guys do stuff. And that's just, you can't say the same about Biden. Like, he was mostly like leaving this earth in real time. He was like, he was
around.
I guess he is. I guess he just like snuck into Harvard or something and dropped an ice cream on himself. I was listening to a Chapo episode about it. I think that's what happened.
That sounds right.
Yeah, no, he's the opposite of doing stuff. He was dying.
Yeah.
Doing more than the last crew did. Yeah, 12 months ago, Tony, we had Motley Crew. Now we have Beautiful Cabin Crew.
Yes.
Which is to say, fake people doing fake things purely for your entertainment and distraction. Loria Raiola says he's running with the ball.
He's working with what was given to him. Okay, this is not his fault.
Yeah, I love that. So he's, again, the argument is just like he's doing stuff. We love it, and like I voted for him to do stuff. And you know what? When I think of Trump, I think of a big, masculine, powerful football player, and he's gonna take that ball and he's gonna get it into the end zone whatever way he can. It might go through your living room and over your wife who is in the process of getting citizenship. But he's going to score a touchdown.
Yeah, it might be nothing but helmet-to-helmet contact with every player possible, but it's happening.
Yeah. Tracy Tuck says, I'm pleased he's had a big mess to clean up. Bob Sieg, I like this one, says, better than expected considering the depth of the swamp. So I think I'm not exactly sure what Bob Sieg Heil meant here, but I think he's saying like, oh, well, he's, down, his approval's at like 45% or something like that. Well, that's still better than expected considering the depth of the swamp.
Yeah.
By which I mean every American in this country.
That is what the swamp is now. The swamp has gotten bigger. It has gotten into the masses.
The swamp is just the 60% of Americans who disapprove of Donald Trump now. Like that is literally, I think, what they mean when they say the swamp. Anthony,
swamp creatures.
What's that?
Americans are just swamp creatures.
Absolutely. We need a hotline. We need a hotline where I can report my neighbors for being swamp creatures.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw their eyes close horizontally. I don't know what's going on there. They seem like swamp creatures to me.
Anthony Wagner says, who'd they ask is my question. Never once have I been asked for a poll.
He's like, if they asked me, I would change this whole thing. If I was able to answer this, the numbers would be way up if I was able to do it.
Yeah, and that's how you...
I do want to point out real quick to the listeners, this is one screenshot. This is one organic stream of comments.
These are just all the top, like, 6 comments.
Yeah. It's not like these are not individually found, these ones. These are all just stacked on top of each other, just organically right there as the top comments in Fox News.
But yeah, this is how you can tell that somebody actually did click on the article when they're like, what is polling anyway?
Yeah.
It's fake. Yeah. It's a polling is a construct. Scott Schwartz says, I'm loving it. Space ... Just like Trump loves McDonald's ... LOL.
Get it? You get it? You get it? What's funny is I think he's being serious. Like he is loving it, and like Trump like McDonald's is a cool thing.
Yeah, it's a joke he made. It's a funny, like, he connected the two things.
I miss when they were able to like make fun of him and embrace it. That was more fun. This is good stuff.
It's like I'm loving it, just like Donald Trump really likes doing his hair, you know? I don't know. It's like you're watching a guy order the mass like deportation and, extrajudicial trafficking of human beings, and you're like, yeah, man, he sure likes fish fillets, and I like him like he likes those fish fillets, and everybody's looking at you like you're a demon.
Yeah,
because
they're like, do you know how much McDonald's is now? When's the last time you were at McDonald's, bro?
It's just like, it's never been more clear that your association with Trump is so surface level.
Yeah.
So based on memes and vibes and attitudes. And it's just the lowest point that Trump's ever been for actual policies and actual concrete material actions. And so, of course, you're just like, I like Trump and feel like doing the little dance that he does when he's on stage. And wow, I feel like a macho man when I vote for Trump. And people are like, liberals are going to kill you.
Yeah. You know, there's like old dudes doing that dance at weddings.
Yeah, there was like some TikTok of a whole wedding party doing it.
Oh, man. It's so sad that the wedding parties that get destroyed are always overseas.
Scott Imhoff says, feel like I did when we were kids. Scott Imhoff, by the way, a like 45-year-old man.
Oh, older than that. He's older than that.
55-year-old man with sunglasses on his forehead, smiling for a photo. Scott says, feel like I did when we were kids. Safe, protected in a time when people took pride in patriotism, like an American in the home of the free. Brought to you by brave people that gave it all without reservation. Not all blue, not all red, but 100% made in America. Eventually, even spoiled kids stop crying. LOL.
What? Like, it's so funny. We don't even have like to be like patriotic in the sense like, hey, you know, they're fighting for your freedom. You better salute them. What are you talking about? What freedom fights happening for our freedom? You know, like, what are you talking about? Also, like, that it just took pride in patriotism. What are you talking about?
It's funny to make that point now when this administration has never been more unpopular.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking about a unified patriotic America. We're so far from that. Like, that the most unified patriotic America we had recently was either under the Bush years right after 9/11 or when Obama got elected. Like, those were the only times in recent memory that we've like actually, quote, been united. And we know that during the Obama administration, even in the very beginning, before he was inaugurated, Republicans were like, hey, we're going to divide the shit out of this place, right?
Yeah.
We're going to make
very loud and vocally. They had a whole order about it.
But to do that and just be like, wow, it's so beautiful to see Americans come together for the greater good, while they hate what your president is doing by 80% or whatever. Also, feel like I did when we were kids. Like, fascism is never beating the I long for being a baby accusations. That is just, it's how much more plainly can these people make it? Trump is my daddy. He's gonna spank my sister, who really has been nasty, and he's going to give us TV to watch and a prayer before bedtime.
Yep. Yeah, safe and protected. It's just like, yeah, are you being swaddled? Are you being like, what do you mean? Also, like, it gives air of non-independence. Like, you need to be taken care of. It's pretty pitiful.
Yeah, I think, what if these people are just like, because they know, I don't know, they know Trump is actually like a bastard, you know, but they're like, hey, I feel safe around this guy. You know, they're like trying to get the bar to let Trump in with them because he's their wingman.
Yep.
You know,
that's such a thing. No.
Yeah,
he's cool.
He was only
know you.
He was only convicted in civil court. It's fine.
Yeah, so ridiculous.
Dan Parks says, the greatest incredible man who loves America, that works sleepless hours to provide the best for everyone 100%. I'm very grateful. If Trump were a superhero, his name would be Incredible Man.
It would be. Because I'm very grateful.
Because he is incredible.
This is because he says it. Like that's only based on the fact that he says he loves America. That's what it has nothing to do with like evidence or anything he's actually done. It's just no, he loves America. I've seen the way he hugged the flag.
That is doing something. That is an action. Hugging the flag is one of the most, I don't know, it's one of the most patriotic things you could do. Jude Beauregard says, losing my money. I thought I'd have a comfortable retirement.
Yep.
And Jeff replies, wait a little longer. He's cleaning a lot of garbage that is built up for 4 years. Garbage like your 401k and pension investments. Jude says,
I didn't lose. You were going to lose it anyways. And now it's happening. So that's because of the last 4 years.
Jude says, I'm too old to wait. I worked hard my whole life for a company that had a different kind of pension that could not be left to anyone but a spouse. I'm not married, so I invested my pension and I'm watching it be sucked away daily. Meanwhile, he bragged how much money his rich friends made. Yes, his rich globalist friends.
Yep.
Clifford Jones replies, now is the time to buy.
Did you not hear where I said I didn't have any money anymore?
And Jude says, I'll buy food, utilities, and medical first. And somebody's laugh reacted to this comment. But yeah, I love being like, I'm a retiree with no income, and the income that I saved my whole fucking life is being destroyed by this maniac who can't even keep the basic premise of neoliberalism intact without, spurging out and slicing it along the throat. And he's like, well, yeah, but you should buy more stocks. Now's the time to buy. Oh, okay. I'll take my money. I'll cash my money out of the stock market to then buy stock, to then put it right back into the stock market. You fucking genius.
And it's great. He says it plainly there, no, I got to buy food, pay my utilities, and make sure my medical bills are taken care of first. Like that's life, brother. Like that's so real. It's like, God dang.
Yeah. And I think Jude might be a woman, because they have tulips for their avatar, which is
but brother is genderless now,
for sure.
Yeah, so just want.
But you did say he though as well.
That also is in the context of brother. If it's attached with brother, it all goes out the window.
David says, "Can't fix it without some pain. Always better to have a husband." And Jude replies, mine's dead.
Oh, God. David felt so good, too. David felt so good being like, maybe you shouldn't be an unmarried hag.
She hit him with the mine's dead.
Fuck.
Uncritical support to Jude in this comment section.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, she laid the husband's dead on your ass.
God damn, David. I hope you feel like shit.
Oh, is it better to have a husband? Because I thought it was cool that mine died of old age.
It was better before my husband fucking died. It's been really hard.
Oh, wow. Is having the person you love in your life better? Oh, wow. Thanks, Einstein. Cool. Yeah. Last thing, Jay Craig says to Jude, relax, the market will be back. It will boom when trade deals signed and big, beautiful bill is passed. You will be paying less taxes and have more money. Gas has already come down.
Where?
Jude says, you guys are delusional or rich because he isn't doing anything for the poor or middle class. And Jay Craig responds again, calm down. It's less than 100 days. A lot of positive things are happening. Give it a little more time. Unless you have TDS, then nothing will help. And I think this Jude chick might have some serious TDS.
Some serious TDS, yeah.
Wanting food and medicine instead of stocks. This is a sign of a deranged mind.
What's so funny about this too is like, you know, Jay Craig, you're over here saying like, I know you lost a lot, but you're good. There, it's gonna come back to maybe what it was, or a little bit better than it is now, and they're gonna be like, that's a W. It's not gonna be better than it was a year ago. It's just gonna be not as bad as it was in the first 100 days. And they're like, see, I fucking told you.
Yeah, I just love this excuse where it's like, it's only been 100 days, and it's like, yeah, he shouldn't have been able to fuck up this bad in only 100 days, and yet he made it his mission to do that.
A lot of jobs, that's like the probationary period. You know, they would have had to have a conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's just like, yeah, it's only 100 days. That's like the excuse you give when there's just been like modest achievements in the stock market. You know, inflation's gone down, but only slightly or whatever. It's just like, no, everything's getting worse. Everything's actively getting worse directly as a result of his actions. Yeah, I think this was a joke, but Isaac said, I think if anything, egg prices are getting too low.
Get it? Yeah. I mean, he's right though. I think that we do take the life and energy that goes into making eggs for granted. I think they should be more expensive. So yeah, I think he's right.
Yeah, why don't you and Ani start a podcast about all this vegan bullshit? All right, keep it off of MDC.
Yeah, it's going to be called count your eggs.
Okay, I consider this to be good news. People having to reckon with how fucking unpopular these fascist right-wing policies actually are when they're implemented. I'm still worried about what the Trump administration is doing and what they're capable of doing in the future, and what they'll just do regardless of public opinion, like arrest sitting judges for refusing to comply with ICE agents who apparently didn't even have like an actual warrant. They just had some sort of internal memo that grants them the ability in their minds to do whatever the fuck they want. However, what this administration could do with like the full support of the American population is worse, right? Like, I think that this is a good sign that Americans are sick of this shit, and I think that it will be some sort of check on what this administration will end up doing. Of course, it's not going to just happen accidentally. People will still have to organize and fight these things in real life and come to the real life defense of their neighbors and of their friends and of their family. But the willingness is there. The opinion is there. The willingness is there. And even if we can't have labor leaders or specific labor leaders lead this moment, people will still be willing to act on this moment and work towards a better future and use these contradictions and use this weakness on this administration to do something good. And I think it's just, it's nice to have these, to highlight these positive things, even when, the world is miserable, and especially because the world is miserable. And especially, I just wanted to get these positive things out there before we move on to our final topic, which is just so gutting and some kind of heart-wrenching news, which is that Jesus is being replaced by Meryl Streep.
Honestly, I'm kind of happy that a lot of people are finally getting on my level. I replaced Jesus with Meryl Streep in my life a long time ago.
I mean, she's got more range.
I mean, and honestly, infallible in my opinion.
One second. Yeah, so this is Jason Rantz, Seattle right-wing AM radio commentator that I think we covered him on one of our live shows. Just a really kind of disgusting human being. It was really funny. I think we showed clips of him when he like burst blood vessels in his eyes while he was like going on to like talk about how bad the chop was or the whatever. He just had like a blood red eye. He's also recently one of his op-eds was about how awful it was for him to ride the bus because he had to see a homeless person with an untreated wound on their face. And not only that, just when you think it couldn't get any worse, you look over and you see an unhoused person living on the street with untreated wounds on their face. Then you freaking smell marijuana on top of it.
Too much.
What are we doing? And as if I'm not supposed to connect the dots here, as if I'm, not supposed to tell that one is obviously the cause of the other. This is his article about Meryl Streep being cast in the Greta Gerwig what is it called? Lion of Narnia? What's the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? Is that the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Rants. Casting Meryl Streep as Aslan in Chronicles of Narnia is an affront to fans and C.S. Lewis. And that's right, folks. This casting a woman as a lion, as a male Jesus lion, this is a humiliation ritual. Okay? Christ is weeping. You are doing nothing about it. You are letting Christ and yourself be humiliated. Activate. We'll just wait here and see what happens. No, this is fantastic, and the thumbnail is of Meryl Streep accepting an award. Like I think this is like the Palme d'Or or something. She's like accepting an award for her brilliant acting on stage. And this is one thing that really pisses me off, Tony, is when they get a good actor in a movie. It's like, what are we even doing here?
Honestly, like, why get a good actor when you can just get, a mediocre actor and then get AI to do the voice for him?
Yeah, you're telling me fucking what's his face from Sound of Freedom wasn't available for this? What if okay, if we have to get a woman, what about the Mandalorian lady who got fired for being racist or whatever or anti-vaxxer? Huh?
Yeah,
what about her? What about that Zoomer who has the TikTok show for the Daily Wire? She wasn't available, I guess.
They didn't call the Hawk Tuah girl. They could have called her.
Okay, I'm reading from this Jason Rance article. Meryl Streep is reportedly in talks to voice Aslan in Greta Gerwig's upcoming adaptation for the Chronicles of Narnia for Netflix. I didn't even know it was for Netflix. How fucking embarrassing, man. Like, I know she directed the Barbie movie and she was able to, like, I guess make something valuable out of Mattel IP that earned a lot of money for everybody involved, or the producers at least in the studio. Is this even going to be in theaters? If it's because isn't Netflix like doubling down on how much they hate actual real life movie theaters?
Yeah, I think so. I think that they're like, they're definitely trying to make it to where your experience is in home. So it kind of sucks. I mean, this is if it's going to be one of those movies like Chronicles of Narnia movie, it should be kind of like an epic, right? We want to see it on like a big screen, right? In theory.
Listen, I don't know. I watched The Fellowship of the Ring on my cell phone and I was transported. It just like I was watching it on a Dolby Digital IMAX. Was
it a Pro? Was it an iPhone Pro with the big screen, or was it just the regular screen?
Oh, it was the Pro. Yeah, it was the big Plus, the iPhone Plus, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, see, that's having a theater in your hand, brother. That's good stuff.
That's a really good point.
It's funny, like the whole. I'm not a big fan of this happening. I think it kind of sucks. Like, I don't think we need to make another Chronicles of Narnia.
Right, they did it perfectly the first time. They just nailed it.
I would love to see Greta Gerwig and Meryl Streep do something together, like for sure. That'd be cool because I like both of them. But I would like to be like a movie I can see in theaters, maybe. Like, that's the stuff I don't like about this. But the stuff they're mad about, of course, is not that at all. It's just like, a woman did woman.
Yeah. Okay. So did you read these book? Like, did you read these books or see these movies or the movies?
if I grew up Christian, if I grew up believing in God, is that what you're asking me? Yes, I did.
Okay, wow. So how many of the books did you read?
I think just only the first like 2.
It's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is the first one.
Yeah,
The Prince is the second one.
I think so. I think
What's
those
it,
are the
what's
2
it called? What's it called?
I don't remember. I
Okay.
was like
Okay.
in 4th grade.
I read like the first 3 or 4. Like I read like The Silverchair, but then that got me to start listening to Silverchair, and I forgot
Is that
about
what the band's
Christian
named
books.
after?
Isn't that the name of the? Hang on, let me look this up. Okay, you can't be here. It's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Prince Caspian. Cool.
There you go.
The Voyage of the Dawn. I don't think I read that one. The Silverchair. I don't think I read that one either. The Horse and His Boy, The Magician's Nephew, and The Last Battle. How many did they make when they did the series in the 2000s?
I think they only do the one.
No, I feel like they did Prince Caspian. I feel like they did a couple, but anyway, okay. So what do you think of? I mean, you don't remember the titles of these books, Tony, but you did get offended when I suggested you hadn't read them. What do you remember about the books? Did you like them?
I remember liking them. I like any type of like fantasy thing like that was like cool. I remember being I remember being kind of like a big read for my young age. Felt like I was kind of reading a grown up book. But I like the whole fantasy aspect of it, the whole like being transported to another land and all that stuff. Yeah, I remember liking it. The bit of a battle going on. Yeah, the line was cool. Yeah, good things. But I remember we read it in class. Like we read it in class at my Catholic school, and we were able to be like talked about the metaphors and stuff. And
I think they suck. I think like the books suck bad. I don't think they're very. I don't know. I remember them being pretty.
Fourth grader, they suck.
What?
If you're not a fourth grader, they probably suck.
I just remember them being pretty boring. I remember really having to like work through to get through as many as I did. And like I don't, just like Aslan. Like I don't know. That's who we're talking about. Like I don't know. I think he sucks. Like I think he's not in many of much of the book. Isn't he like doesn't he like leave and then come back or something? Like, isn't he gone for a while? I don't know. Maybe I'm confusing him with the lion that is King Richard in the Robin Hood the animated Robin Hood movies or whatever. But like Aslan, like he doesn't even have a Z in his name. Did you know that? It's like Aslan. I
did know that.
What?
Yeah.
I read the real Christian conservative series, Harry Potter.
There you go.
When I grew up.
Because it's not a real Christian series unless there's a little anti-Semitism in it, and I don't think there really is much in the Chronicles of Narnia.
Right, anti-Semitism, the worship of money, the worship of police. It's all good Christian activities. Fans are questioning the decision to cast a female actress for a male character, and you just can't. Jesus was a man, Santa Claus was white, and Jesus was a man. Okay,
I will say there in the Shroud of Turin, there is no dick print. We're not sure.
It's because Jesus wasn't.
I think we're told.
We're told what?
That he's a man.
Oh, that he's a man. Yeah. He wasn't wearing the gray sweatpants in the tomb. So who knows?
Who knows? Mystery.
Fans are questioning the decision to cast a female actress for a male character that, as Gerwig is undoubtedly aware, was meant to be a manifestation of Jesus Christ. We get it. Feminism, or rather, sheer laziness. What a lazy it's lazy because it's like they got an Oscar winner. It's like, oh, cool, you got an Oscar winner. Who could have possibly come up with that idea? Let's do some stunt casting. Let's get like a crazy guy who actually thinks he is the second coming of Christ to voice the line. Now that would be interesting.
I'd be into that, yes. A real method actor.
She should have just like cast a Muslim.
Well, I don't know what. Yeah. a Muslim woman, and then have the lion wear a hijab the whole time.
The very next paragraph. Why can't Christ be female? Well, because he wasn't female. And this movie raises significant concerns about basic respect to C.S. Lewis's original vision. Like, I love how absurd this conversation has to be. Well, yeah. The lion can't be female because Christ was a man. It's like, but he wasn't a lion either. Like, we're talking about fantasy. You're talking about a child's adaptation, and like, you know, where and when you're willing to lay down the law about what can be creative license, all that's doing is telling us of your general proclivities, which is that you hate women. You hate women more than you hate lions. You know, like, it's like not insulting to depict Jesus as an animal, but it's insulting to depict him as a woman, to have him be played by a woman.
That's so funny, especially if you know anything about, you know, like the Lion Kingdom. Like, you know, the male lions are kind of like it's gender reversion. You know, like they're bums. Moms do a lot of they run the roost. You know.
Well, I don't know if they rule the roost, but they definitely do all the work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aslan and his symbolism is the most important piece of Narnia. Aslan is not merely a character in the Narnia series. He embodies the essence of Narnia itself.
Calm down.
Lewis described Aslan as the Christ of Narnia. That's why this book sucks, dude. It's
yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. It was already clear that he was like a Christ figure or whatever. It's not like you're adding anything to the story. I don't know. It's just, it's not even that much of a stretch. Lewis described Aslan as the Christ of Narnia, imagining how Jesus might manifest in the fantasy world he so painstakingly created. Aslan's male identity is integral to this portrayal, aligning with the biblical depiction of Jesus as a male figure. I think like half of this was written by ChatGPT. He's just like repeating his same points over and over. This connection is important for many readers who see Aslan's actions, his sacrifice and resurrection, as a direct parallel, parentheses, though no, not an allegory, to the story of Jesus Christ. My favorite allegory is when that mouse pulled the thorn out of Jesus's paw.
Yeah.
Teaches you not to stab Jesus. That's like the worst thing you could do, is put a spear or a thorn in anywhere in that guy.
Well, they kind of had to do it though to make the whole, you know, prophecy come true. But also, it's like, if you think that you need people to read the Chronicles of Narnia to like come to Jesus, maybe you need to work on the whole Jesus pitch in the first place.
Absolutely, bro. It's why the possible casting of Streep has led to backlash among fans. Social media comments such as, quote, Aslan is literally a male lion. He's literally a male lion. Are we insane? The talking anthropomorphic Christ is a male lion. He just is.
It's just true.
And, quote, Aslan is Jesus. Jesus was a man. Reflects an accurate sentiment that Streep undermines in the character's foundational and meaningful symbol. Saying Aslan was a man. Listen to yourself. You're so confused. You are more confused about gender than any trans person or non-binary person.
It's funny too, because like, is this lion going to have a mane? Because I think they're putting a lot of weight on the lion having a mane, as if they would see two lions in the wild and they'd be more scared of the one without the mane than the one with the mane.
Right. Gerwig claims to want to offer a bold take on Narnia. Again, so embarrassing. A bold, fresh vision on Narnia, while maintaining the original spirit of the books, which are, again, boring. However, altering a central character's gender, which was integral to the book. That lion was fucking. His dick was so important to the book.
Yeah, I mean, if you can pull up like a document of Chronicles of Narnia and you search Red Rocket, it's referenced all the time. Aslan's dick all the time. So,
and it feels like she's trying to make a political point about female empowerment. Quote, turning God into a woman will surely rattle some feathers in the anti-woke community, but it also certainly suits the pop culture feminism through line of Gerwig's work thus far, First Post wrote. Will the White Witch be played by a man? Yeah, they shouldn't get the non-binary shaved head Biden cabinet appointee to play the White Witch. I can't remember their name.
Yeah, the one who was like stealing clothes, right?
Yeah.
Liam
Neeson already played a brilliant Aslan. Morgan Freeman has already played Geese. So is Rance Jewish? Have you seen this? The GD? Do you know what this means?
Yeah, that must mean that. I think that might be what it is. Yeah, because you can't type out God.
Yeah, observe. I mean, if it's not. I don't know. So you can't. You just don't. You don't want to. It's disrespectful to type out God. So yeah, this is like a Jewish guy complaining that the Chronicles of Narnia isn't accurately representing Jesus because it's like Jesus fucking Christ, guys. This is, and then let me finish this paragraph. So yeah, Liam Neeson already played a brilliant Aslan. Morgan Freeman has already played God. Jared Leto looks like the historical Jesus. Book one of them.
First of all, that's not what Jesus looked like. If you're still pushing the white Jesus narrative, you're pretty far off base here. But that's just not how it works. Like you can't be, hey Liam, I know you did this role before for a totally different director and different project before. Why don't you come on back? Why don't you reprise this with us?
It's so funny that like they're not content with us redoing a series that already had its light of day, that already got its big budget production, that all you fucking Christians and whatever Western history lovers or whatever you consider yourself, it has to be the specific thing again. It can't just be a reboot of the old thing that we don't need anymore. It has to be the specific recreation of this specific thing again.
Yeah.
That is again, it's like this push and pull between an already reactionary liberal centrism of remaking the Chronicles of Narnia, but we're going to put a lady as Jesus. Isn't that cool? Isn't that subversive? Or isn't that like feminist or whatever? The push and pull between that and the psychos who want to go even further and just remake the whole movie exactly as it was, because that's what's right. And it's so like you're admitting you already got the thing you wanted. You already have the thing you wanted. Why are you upset?
Yeah, but I mean, I can't find it on streaming all the time. It's like hard to find. I don't want to rent it on YouTube, and like it's going to be done by Netflix, so I know it's going to be there. So if you can just remake it shot for shot on a place where I know I can find it, that'd be cool.
So here's the comments on the Jason Rance show, and Claudia says exactly the same thing. This would be horrible. The other Chronicles of Narnia movies were so well done. Can this please be stopped? It's just like it's like looking at it like somebody's there, like you got advertised a t-shirt online and it's got a logo on it, and the logo is different from the t-shirt that you have in your closet, and you're like, I don't fucking get it. We already had a perfect t-shirt. I have it. It's in my closet right now. Can we please stop this new t-shirt?
We can't let these t-shirts get out. And it's not like this is going to ruin the other t-shirt. You know, it's not like this coming out is going to like negate the Narnia that you already love. Just go watch that one.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, yeah, we don't need a new Chronicles of Narnia, but also we didn't need the first one. Like it's all just stupid, man. Lynn Mullins Hamilton says, will not support it in any way. Disgraceful. Jerry Rees says, they are remaking the demon versions of what were good movies.
Yep, that's what it is.
The demonic Greta Gerwig version of Lion Witch in the Wardrobe, where we're gonna find out that that like there's a patriarchy in Narnia or something.
Yeah. It's so stupid.
They're gonna have a prince, and the prince is actually gonna be like kind of an anti-democratic figure, which is crazy woke and crazy subversive to have in an American movie. I love they're remaking the demon versions of what were good movies. I love that so much. Linda Laritzin says, "Nope, not me."
Not me.
Vicky Grua says, "So sad." Anthony Finnegan says, "I guess they like losing money. Go woke, go broke. Conservatives are not spending their money on liberal mental illness."
This person put the same exact comment under the Barbie movie.
Yeah.
And it did not work.
And it's funny. Yeah, this is just, again, it's like kind of the same thing I was saying about the like fringe immigration people who like think that we're not going far enough on immigration. And same thing with like the overtly racist people who think like, oh, now it's time to like get rid of the pretense of like a multicultural, anti-racist society or whatever. And it's the same thing as these people. Like the compromise in America between the Christian right and the secular centrist / liberal / left majority in this country was, we're going to make fun fantasy movies about your religion.
Yeah.
Is that okay with you? And they're like, no.
Oh.
You know, it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know who you think you are that you can demand this of everybody else. Like, read the fucking room.
Or just read the book and leave us alone. It's like, if this book is so good and so important, changing who does the voice of one character should not negate the rest of it. Like, if it's that good, don't worry about it, you know?
I met God. She's a lion. Brian T. St. Pierre says they're never going to make any money if they just keep on remaking anything that they have and not coming up with new ideas. Haven't they learned beating a dead horse doesn't work yet? And I wish they would have, Brian, but like for somebody who hates Hollywood and hates Disney, probably, you sure don't pay that much attention to them because they make so much money with these remakes. Yeah. The Snow White one, I think, is the first one to flop. And it's, I think, because it seemed like an awful movie it's had like nothing but bad press for like at least five different reasons. Otherwise, like all these other remakes make billions of fucking dollars. So yeah, it sucks. I agree that they should be remaking all this stuff. But the profit motive dictates that they must.
Also, the way the Netflix structure works, it's not like they're not worried about box offices. They already have you already, Brian, I guarantee you have Netflix. You're already paying for it. You paid for Narnia. You did it already. It's done. They're not going to lose money for that movie not being streamed that much.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I mean, this movie at like worst will be a tax write-off for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Laurel Larson says, I guess it's a good thing, period. I kept those good movies on my DVDs.
I'm going to give Laurel this comment. This is a good comment. We are fans of physical media on this podcast. It is important to buy the DVDs, to have them on hand so they can't take them away from streaming. But I love that. She's like, if I didn't have this on DVD, it would have ruined the first one. Thank God I preserved mine. You
better hope like Mayor Pete or Elizabeth Warren or somebody like that doesn't get into the presidential office in 2028, because ICE agents will be busting down your door to confiscate your Chronicles of Narnia DVD. Like, I am willing to keep ICE around as long as we only use it to deprive these people of 2000s movies that were middling at best. No, I guess it's a good thing I kept those good movies on my DVD. Like, there could be, there's definitely a case for keeping physical media and not trusting the streaming services to preserve media that is worth preserving. However, I would bet money that like Netflix, because they're remaking this movie, that they have also got the distribution rights or the streaming rights for the original movies, for the ones in the 2000s. Like, they're gonna want to remind people constantly of the existence of this property. That's the reason they're remaking it in the first place, is because people already recognize it. The more they can do to help people recognize the quote property, because that's what it is. It's not art. It's not whatever. It's just what do you call it? It's an item in their inventory that they can make money off of. I would assume they're going to try to do that with the original as well. They're definitely not doing this to like destroy the original, because the original existing is the only reason that they're making this movie in the first place. It's the only reason they want to make this movie in the first place. They're hoping for synergy.
They're hoping to recreate success.
Now they definitely don't want you to own it, because that means you don't need them to watch it. But that's another story. Regina Rosendale says, "No, leave it alone.
Don't touch it. No, please."
Clarissa Jones says, "They are definitely quote had-beens." End quote.
Who? Meryl Streep and Greta Gerwig is that who you're talking about?
Maybe Netflix.
Okay. Yeah, totally. Absolutely Netflix. Definitely has been.
Did people have like already forgotten about what they thought was like hardcore pedophilia on Netflix in the form of that movie about the child dancers, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't see that. Cuties, what was it called?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. Yeah.
People forgot about Cuties.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They are definitely quote had-beens. The quote wokeness the Dems are still trying to spread is over and not accepted by the vast majority of voters. Again, like this is like you're kind of conceding already a liberal cultural victory in that the most popular depiction of Christ is a talking lion for babies.
Yeah.
That's pretty lib stuff.
Yeah, kind of missing it.
And Carlos Guedes posted one of those like little animated stickers of a stick figure bunny rabbit behind bars.
Mm-hmm.
And in the GIF, he's like dancing. He's like holding the bars and kind of like dancing and rocking with them. But it definitely appears that he's like in prison. And I do think that's where Carlos wants to see Greta Gerwig and Meryl Streep.
Yeah, I don't think he was trying to depict like a bunny in like a go-go cage having fun. I think it is like a prison cell. Yeah.
Right. And you will not be rising in 3 days from this cell that we put you in. That is for damn sure.
No. Gotta lock her up for this one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's the episode. Our hearts go out to Jesus. We hope you're doing okay. We are sorry. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they produce. Thanks for listening. If you want to support this show, again, patreon.com/Minion Death Cult. The best way to do it. If you can't afford $5 a month for a bonus episode every single week, consider just recommending the show to somebody. Word of mouth is a great way you can support this show and help us do what we're doing and help more people hear it. And we appreciate everybody who engages with us in the Facebook page, Minion Death Commandos, and on the Patreon comment section. So thanks everybody for listening and for supporting, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.
Peace.